Welcome. This is Soothing Whispers ASMR. As always, if there are any sounds or words you would like to hear me perform, please leave them below in the comments. Tonight I thought we could enjoy some of the wonderful fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm, beginning with The Wolf and the Seven Goslings. Once upon a time there lived a goose that had 7 little goslings. These she loved as dearly as a mother can. One day she had to go out to seek food. So she called her young ones to her and said, "Dear children, I am going to get you something to eat. Be good while I am away, and be very sure, not to open the door. Here in the forest lives a great wolf. He would like to get into our house and eat you up. Look out for him with his rough voice and his great black paws." "Dear mother," said the goslings, "we will do just as you say. Please bring us some fine fat worms." "That I will," said the mother. She waved good-bye and away she went. The old wolf saw her go. "Ah," he said to himself, "this is my time to dine on goslings." Straight to their door he trotted. He knocked at the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who is there?" asked the goslings. "It is I, your mother," answered the wolf in his rough voice. "Open the door, my dears." "Ah, no, no," cried the little goslings. "You are not our mother. Her voice is soft and sweet, not rough like yours. You are the wolf, and will open no door for you." Away ran the wolf, but soon he crept back to the door. Again he knocked, and this time he called in a soft voice. "Let me in, my dears, let me in. I am your mother, and I have brought you something good to eat." "That is our mother's voice," said the youngest gosling. "Let us open the door." But the oldest one peeped through a crack and saw one of the wolf's great black paws. "Ah, no," he said, "we must not open the door. Our mother has no great black feet like that. Go away, you are the wolf." Away went the wolf again. He ran to a mill and said, "Miller, dust my feet with flour, or I'll bite you with my sharp teeth." The miller was too frightened to say no. He made the wolf's feet white with flour. Now went the wolf the 3rd time to the goslings. He said in a soft voice, "Open the door, dear children. I am your mother, come home at last. I have something good for each of you." The little goslings heard the soft voice. Through the crack they could just see his white feet. In haste to see what their mother had brought, they opened the door. In came the great wolf. The little goslings ran to hide. One crept under the table, another under the bed, the third hid in the oven, and the fourth in a meal barrel. The fifth got in a box, the sixth crept under a tub, and the seventh jumped in the tall clock. The wolf found 6 and gobbled them up. He went from top to bottom of the house looking for the 7th gosling, but he never thought of looking inside the clock, and there it was. At last the wolf gave up the search. He went out and lay down in the green meadow. Soon he fell fast asleep. Meanwhile the mother goose came home. Alas and alas, what did she see? The house door was wide open. Tables, chairs, and stools were upset. The broken tub and box were in the middle of the floor. She looked for her children and called them, but all in vain. Not one could she find. The wolf, the cruel wolf has been here, she cried. Alas, are all my darlings dead? Mother, mother, cried a little voice, here I am in the tall clock. She waddled as fast as she could to help the baby gosling out. Then the little one told how cunning the wolf had been, and how he had gotten into the house and had eaten her brothers and sisters. How the poor mother wept for her children. At least I will see where the cruel wolf has gone, said she. So she followed his tracks across the meadow. She found him lying asleep, snoring so that the leaves shook as if in the wind. As she looked down, she saw that something inside him moved up and down. Can it be that my children are still alive? She said. I will see. She sent the little gosling to bring her scissors and needle and thread. She gave a snip, and out came one of the goslings, then another snip and another, till all 6 stood safe before her. The great wolf had swallowed them whole, and they were not hurt. Then the mother said, now bring me 6 large stones from the brook. The goslings brought the largest stones they could lift. These they put inside the old wolf. The mother goose sewed him up so quietly that he did not stir. When he had slept long enough, he yawned and stretched and tried to get up. The stones were so heavy that it was hard for him to move. How thirsty I am, he said to himself. I must go down to the brook and drink. As he walked, the stones knocked against one another and against his sides. He cried out, rattle, rattle, rumble, rumble. Who ever felt such bones? Surely a wolf has the right to grumble at goslings so like stones. He at last came to the brook and stooped to drink, but when he leaned forward, the weight of the stones made him fall into the stream. Down he sank to the bottom and never rose again. The goslings and their mother heard the splash and ran to the brook. They danced for joy, crying out, the wolf is dead, the wolf is dead. The Queen Bee. A king had 2 sons who were called very clever. Yet they were idle, and never thought of other people's comfort or pleasure. They had a younger brother named Whitling, who was gentle and quiet. The two older brothers often laughed at him. "You are too stupid ever to make your way in the world," they said. One day the three started on a journey together. They had not gone far when they came upon an ant hill. "Let us overturn this ant hill," said the oldest brother. "It will be fun to see the frightened ants running to and fro, carrying their eggs." "No, no," said Whitling, "leave the little ants in peace. Why should we frighten them?" They left the ant hill unharmed, and along their way they went. Soon they came to a lake. Many ducks were swimming about on the water. The second brother said, "Come, let us kill some of these fine ducks." "No," said Whitling, "do not kill them. We do not need them for food, so why should we take away their lives?" So they left the ducks swimming about on the lake. They walked on till they came to a bee's nest in a tree. "Let us kindle a fire," said the oldest brother. "The smoke will keep the bees from stinging us. Then we can take the honey." But Whitling held him back. "Do not make a fire. Why should we rob the bees of their store? We are not hungry, and we cannot carry the honey with us." Again they listened to his words, though they said, "You are a poor, silly fellow." On and on they went. At last they came to a great castle. It was of stone, and all things they saw, even the horses in the stables, were stone. The brothers went through room after room. They did not see man nor woman nor child, only stone figures. At last they reached a door, through a hole in which they saw a little grey man. They called to him once and again. When they called a third time, he rose and came out. He gave them food and showed them a room where they might sleep, but he did not speak one word. The next morning he showed a stone table on which were written 3 tasks. These every one who came to the castle must undertake. The first was this: in the moss around the castle are scattered 1,000 pearls. They must all be found in one day. Whoever does this will free the castle from its spell. Whoever tries and fails will himself be turned to stone at sunset. The oldest brother read these words and began at once to search for the pearls. He looked all day long, but when sunset came he had found only 100, so he was turned into stone. The next day the second brother began the search. He began before day, searching by moonlight, but at sunset he had found only 200 pearls, so he too was changed to stone. He searched and searched, but it was now the turn of Whitling. He searched and searched, but he found only a handful of the pearls. As the sun was about to set, poor Whitling dropped the gems and began to weep. As he wept there came to him the ants whose home he had saved. "Good day, friend Whitling," they said. "Once you did us a good turn, now we will repay you." Here and there through the moss went the little ants. One after another came up with a pearl which it laid before him. Then home they went without waiting for his thanks. In great joy Whitling carried the pearls to the castle. Then the old grey man pointed to the stone table. There Whitling read the second task. The key of the princess's room is under the mud and water of this great lake. It must be found and the door unlocked. Ah, thought Whitling, this is a thing I can never do. No man on earth can dive deep enough to find a little key lost in a great lake. He went out and stood beside the lake, and his tears fell into the blue water. Then the ducks that he had saved came swimming to his feet. "Do not be so sad, friend Whitling," they said, "you have saved us. Now it is our time to save you." Down to the bottom of the lake they dived. At last one came up with the key in his beak. Whitling took it and unlocked the door of the princess's room. There they lay, all three fast asleep. Now the little grey man pointed Whitling to his last task, the hardest of all. "Go into the room where the three princesses lie asleep. They are so much alike that their own mother cannot tell one from another. You must awake the youngest and dearest." Before they went to sleep, the oldest ate some sugar, the second a little syrup, and the youngest a spoonful of honey. But how was Whitling to know which had eaten the honey? He stood looking at the princesses. They were as much like one another as his image in the looking-glass was like him. Just then there flew into the room the queen bee of the nest that he had saved. She flew to the king's daughters and buzzed from one to another. Then she began to sip honey from the lips of one. Thus Whitling knew that this was the youngest, and he waked her. When she opened her eyes, the castle was freed from its spell. The other princesses waked, and the horses and men took their own shapes again. Then the king gave Whitling half his kingdom and his youngest daughter as his bride. The two other brothers married the other princesses. They had learned from Whitling that it was better to be simple and kind-hearted than clever and unkind. And with that, I fear we have come to the end of our video. As always, I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful night. Sweet dreams.